The 1.17 update just dropped, and I thought it would be really cool to explore the world to find copper. And more importantly, in today's episode, to kind of establish an aesthetical copper mine. I think that would be really cool, and maybe copper can be one of those blocks that I can use in this future kingdom. I am in newly generated chunks of 1.17, so I should put this on. I should be finding copper, and more importantly, I should be finding some amethyst geodes, maybe. I'm pretty sure they spawn in this update. And also, one thing that I have to remember is I have to use fortune on every ore now, because then you get like this chunk, I think. Oh, that's right. How do I harvest you? I think I need shears. Okay, I'm not finding any copper right now. Fortune. Okay, and what do I do with this? Okay, it must be a 9x9 then. I think you can make a block with it. I have found it. I have found copper and a creeper. Please go away. Ugh. Man, this copper is actually a little rarer than I thought. I found more iron than copper. So fortune 3. Okay, and how many chunks did we get? Raw copper. Okay, so what do I do with this raw ore? Do I? Yeah, so I put it in a 9x9 or in a 3x3. Okay, so I don't smelt it. How do I make it? Oh, that's interesting. I have not paid attention to any of the update videos that people have been putting out, but because I like to go about my updates without knowing anything. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's diorite. I thought that might have been the new amethyst geode block, which is actually really pretty. I want to get my hands on some. I see some chains up here. Yeah, it's a mine shaft. Oh, that's like the new block. It's like brimstone. I think they changed the names like twice. I think deep slate. Yeah, they changed it from like brimstone to deep slate. So I just noticed something interesting. This deep slate is in its raw form. So if I wanted to collect this specific block, then I would have to use silk touch, just like I have to use silk touch to collect normal stone. And if I use a non-silk touch pick, it gives me a cobbled version of deep slate. And I'm guessing I'll be able to actually smelt this to convert it back to deep slate. Just like the relationship between stone and cobblestone. Alright, so I'm on the surface, and that copper that you just saw me get is the only copper I've ever found. And I think there's a reason behind that. I think copper spawns a little closer to the surface than any other ore except for coal. So I think I have to be in like surface caves to actually find it. And it is the case. Okay, I just found some copper. Is that an amethyst? Basalt. Wait, isn't that what spawns in the nether? What? Oh, but it's a smooth version. Ah, I see. I don't want to break this. Do not break this. This is actually an important part. This plate breaks really fast. Figured out why they have it in blocks. It's so that if you're carrying like 5 stacks around of just this raw iron or raw copper, you just put it in a block, and it saves you like three slots of inventory space. So yeah, let me head back to base. Alrighty, so a lot of time has passed, and during that, I have started on this copper mine, and I think it looks pretty good. Especially from this top view, you can really see the winding scaffoldings going throughout the ravine. And let me just pop down here, and I'm using these new 1.17 blocks in these little pathways. I'm using this let me get the name right. Deep slate, right? Yeah, I'm using this deep slate, and it works really well as a nice like dark block, and it kind of transitions if you use the tuff and the gravel and andesite into like cobblestone pretty nicely. So yeah, I really like my pathway design that I did to actually have a gradual slope from this ground level down into the ravine. I think it works really well. And as we enter the ravine, you can see the beginnings of the copper mine. You can see these scaffoldings. You can actually see actual Minecraft scaffoldings there. And you can also see the copper and the tuff in the walls. And I think it just looks really nice. I tried to get, the really worked on vibe, how it looks really busy, and I think I nailed it. Um, yeah, I really like what I did with these scaffoldings. I think it was a neat feature that to do, and I think it worked really well. And over here, I'm also using some campfires. It works really well to transition from these bottom half slabs to the top half slabs, like up here. And you can also take advantage of that crisscross pattern for just more detail and depth. A shame though about this is that the ash down below is like this blue gray type texture, and you can't really get rid of it without texture packs. So that's a little unfortunate thing, but doesn't really affect too much. So my plan right now is to kind of build a crane right here, and what it'll do is it'll bring the mined out copper from down there up to here, and it'll also just give some more detail and life to the build, something that is much needed, because on the surface you can actually tell that there's anything here. So I really want to have some elevation be built up, so from the city, which will be over there somewhere in that village, you can actually see somewhat of a mine in the distance. So I think that's going to be pretty cool, but I think I'm going to have a time lapse, but however, replay mod isn't out, so I think I'm going to have to use my spectator account, so enjoy the time lapse. So there is the crane, and relatively I'm pretty happy with it. I added a lot of detail to the actual like rope or winch or whatever you call it, the thing that pulls up the thing. So I used like 5 different blocks. I used the grindstones as like the things that connect to each piece, so that being the actual carriage that you're actually carrying up, and then also the beam that's actually holding it. And then I used those cobbled deep slate walls, and then those iron bars in a pretty cool fashion. You can see the design right there. Iron bars, and then some lightning rods. And with the lightning rod, you can kind of place them so that the bulbs of it kind of converge, and it makes like a bigger bulge. That sounded weird. And then fences down there. I also use signs to kind of portray that the blocks are actually being held and aren't going to fall off, instead of trapdoors, because with spruce trapdoors, it would actually block the image of how many blocks were there. So I thought signs would do a better job, and I think they do. Over here you can see that little cart over there, and also some stairways for scaffolding and all that. And then over here we just have a smaller crane which brings down barrels and chests and crafting benches and things like that. Another thing is I added some supplies over here that the crane actually brings down. And yeah, over here is just another look at that cart. I used the wooden oak wood trapdoors as wheels, and then these fence gates as like holsters for like a horse to actually pull it. But yeah, so over here is where some of the minerals have been dropped off, and then workers would carry them down into the carts. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, it was a pretty quick build, but I think there's not really much else to do here in this area. But overall, I think this build came out pretty well. And if I were to come back, I would definitely add some more buildings over here. But I really just don't know what to add here right now. But if it's a rainy day sometime and I really come up with a really cool idea for this mine over here, then I'll come here and start building. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to be all from me for today's episode. Most of the progress that you've seen down in this mine was actually done on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JuxyTV. Also in the links in the description below, you can follow to my Twitter and YouTube and Twitch. But yeah, so with the Twitch, you can actually see most of the progress of this world. Just a little shameless plug there. But thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Peace out, and goodbye.